Hi everyone, welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast, and today we're carrying on our series of FAQs, and one of the ones that I've had again recently is how long can I have the loan for? So this is sort of predominantly talking about bridging and development finance. So this is how long can I take a bridge for, how long can I take a development loan for? Now, obviously each deal varies massively. However, what I would say is that lenders are, as well as being optimistic, they're always quite pessimistic as well. So if you are doing a small renovation, for example, small refurb of a single dwelling, and you say to me, oh, I'd like to take the bridge for 12 months, a lot of the lenders are going to turn around and say, well, why does it need to be 12 months? Why does it need to be that length of time? Because although they're sort of optimistic and they're like, yeah, we'll get it done really quickly, there's that pessimistic side of them as well, which is like, why does it need to be this long? So from their point of view, they want to think, okay, well, there needs to be some sort of call to action to get this done as quick as possible, because from their point of view, if you've got 12 months, inevitably you're going to take that 12 months. There's no way you're not going to, because you know you've got that 12 months. Human nature is just to take the time that you've got available. So from their perspective, they want to try and incentivize you to get done a bit quicker. So if it's a single dwelling, I would say a bridging loan is probably going to max out at 9 months, for example. Obviously, if it runs past that, there are extension options and everything else that we can talk about on another episode, but there are ways of extending that facility if needs be. The other thing as well is that if you really think that 9 months is going to be too tight, then obviously we can push for 12 months, etc. But I think it's always nice to have that incentive to get things done as quickly as possible. But obviously you also can't predict what's going to happen in the market and what's going to happen with each of the properties that you're dealing with. There might be a delay on sales, build, etc. When it comes to development finance, it's a similar strategy from a lender. So if you're doing a development of 40 units, for example, and you come to us and say, well, we want to get it done in 12 months, the lender's going to laugh, turn around and say, no, you need more like 18 months to 2 years because of the quantity of units that are involved. But if you come to us and say, well, I want 18 months to do 2 units, again, they're going to laugh. So why do you need 18 months? That's far too long to do a build of 2 units. So when it comes to how long can I have the loan, when it comes to bridging and development finance, you can have it for as long as you want, but you need to keep in mind that it needs to be a realistic and not silly length of time. But also the thing to remember as well is that if you take the loan for too long, obviously with interest being retained up front by many lenders, you're just increasing the deposit that you need to put into the deal. Because if you're taking a 75% loan to value bridge, for example, it's 1% a month and you're taking it over 12 months. All of a sudden, without even taking into account fees, that 75% becomes 63%. So all of a sudden, you've got to find that money, and obviously you then put 2 or 3% fees on that. That 75% becomes 60%. All of a sudden, the deposit you're putting into that deal is 40% as opposed to 25%. It becomes a significant change in numbers. So by then changing that and saying, well, actually, I only need it for 9 months. Well, there's 3% that you've saved essentially on interest that you then don't have to find as a deposit. So it can be quite helpful sort of bringing that timescale down a little bit as well. The thing to bear in mind though is that bringing that timescale down by 3 months, yes, you'll save 3% interest, but if it ran past that 9 months, you may then actually end up paying 3, 5, whatever percent extension fee. So actually it may not work out in the long run anyway. So it's a delicate balancing act between all these things. Obviously, a broker gets involved and helps you to understand those timescales, but it is a question that's coming up more regularly to us. So development finance, obviously just keep in mind not to go too long. Bridging finance, keep in mind not to go too short. When it comes to your mortgages, obviously many of you will know what you're doing when it comes to mortgages anyway. But when it comes to buy-to-lets, HMOs, service accommodation, you can have a 2, 3, 5, 7 or 10 year fixed. I would say 7, 10 year probably isn't relevant to anyone listening to this at the moment. Most people at the moment are going for 2 or 3 year fixed. This isn't financial advice. This is just sort of giving you an idea of what other people are doing at the moment. But many are going for 2 or 3 year fixed, mainly because they want to see, obviously short term, they think interest rates are going to coming down. So taking a 5 year at the moment seems counterproductive to a certain degree, because if interest rates come down, obviously you're not going to see the benefit of that for another 5 years. So when it comes to that side of things, this isn't necessarily about how long a mortgage can I take. This is about how long a fixed term should I take. And it's all about your own personal risk profile and do I want to take a shorter term, obviously bearing in mind that I think interest rates are going to change soon, or do I want to take a longer term because I think interest rates are going to stay as they are and actually there's not going to be a benefit for maybe 3, 4, 5 years. So taking that 5 year fixed obviously makes a bit more sense. Hopefully that helps, and thank you very much for listening. Catch you on the next one.